Welcome to All Things Cozy with Gillian.
And Matt.
We are a bi weekly podcast about everything that is warm, soft, and comforting. Today's episode covers our hunt for an October free of pumpkin spice pressure and expectation. Instead of carving out the great pumpkin, we're slapping some stickers on a lazy pumpkin and sharing ideas to get the most out of this special season with minimal effort. But before we take a leisurely stroll over to our lazy approved fall activities, let's check the kettle because it's tea time. Matt, what are you sipping?
I've officially been diving into pumpkin spice season. So I've had my first pumpkin spice lattes of the fall, and I'm very excited to bring that back into my life. I try to limit it so that it's not too indulgent in terms of how many pumpkin spice lattes I'm having per week, but I am enjoying having that back in my rotation. So that's definitely what I've been sipping. But in terms of just checking in on like what I've been up to since our last episode, I wanted to share that I went to my first K-pop concert.
Oh, can you explain that for everyone? Because wasn't it like a bunch of different concerts in one, like a mega event?
No, this was just one artist.
Oh, okay.
I'll start from the beginning. So
Yeah.
K-pop is, I think most people have heard of this at this point, especially if you've seen the movie K-pop Demon Hunters, which is huge right now, if you have kids especially.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there blank face. I'm like,
Yeah, I work in school, so everything is Huntrix this and Saja Boys that. Very big right now, but of course, K-pop or Korean pop music has had a huge impact for quite a while. So BTS, I think, made
oh
a huge
yes, I know
impact
them.
most recently. So there's been a lot of different acts that have come through that have gained international appeal and have pierced the music market here in the United States. My first experience with Korean pop music was with Big Bang, which was like a huge boy band. So the concert that I went to was the solo act of one of the members of that band. So he was one of the rappers in Big Bang, because in the boy bands there, you usually have at least one or two rappers in your group. You got to have them. His name is G-Dragon, and I absolutely love his solo music. It's incredible pop music. It really will get your blood pumping. You don't need to know what he's saying. It's just fun. Also, especially on his most recent album, Ubermensch, he has a lot of English on it, which almost spoils the fun a little bit for me because I'm like, oh, I can understand what you're saying now.
Instead of imagining it,
It's less fun.
making up stuff. Yeah.
So he came to Los Angeles, and it's not that common for a huge K-pop act to even come through the United States at all, even if they're large in other parts of the world, like G-Dragon is. He hasn't toured in the United States since 2017, so it's been almost 10 years since he's been here. And he made stops in New York, Vegas, and then finally his last show in the United States was in Los Angeles. And we went to night one of that. He had like a 2-night stint at Crypto.com Arena.
So cozy.
Or as they say in the new Naked Gun movie, Pyramid Scheme Arena. I still always want to call it the Staples Center. But anyway, that was the venue. And I really don't go to pop shows. I usually go to like, small indie acts, really intimate shows. Or rock concerts like the Rolling Stones or the Smashing Pumpkins. But I've never been to like a big pop concert before, and it was so fun. And I feel like I've been depriving myself of a really great experience that I think everyone else has been having in their like Taylor Swift and Beyonce shows. And I'm looking at that, I'm like, oh, you're so far away. Isn't that even fun? And then I did it, and I was like, yeah, it is really fun, actually. All the effects, the pyrotechnics, like it's so big. They're dancers. It was a huge production, and he was amazing. G-Dragon is kind of like if you put together Michael Jackson and Kendrick Lamar, but it was amazing. And I did learn a few things about etiquette when it comes to going to a K-pop concert that I wasn't aware of until I experienced it. So I'm used to clapping after every song, but what everyone was doing was just screaming their heads off the entire time. And he would milk it too. He would like put his ear out and he would like pretend to take notes on the applause. Like, is this enough for me? I was deaf by the end of it because everyone was screaming their lungs out. And there was never really much applause after each act. It was just more screaming. So I stopped clapping after a while because I was like, oh, I'm just be shouting. And also everyone had these light up sticks that are branded to the artist. And so G-Dragons is like a flower with a petal missing, and they all light up and then they synchronize with each other. So I guess the act is sending out some kind of like infrared signal to make all of those devices in sync. And so it would pulse and change color with the entire arena. So that was like a cool immersive element that people brought their own or bought them at the venue, these light sticks. and they really added to the show and the production value. So I had an amazing time. I have not stopped listening to G-Dragon's music since the concert. That's always a good sign for me, is if I can't stop listening to their music after I see the show.
Well, you sold me on G-Dragon, and I love the name G-Dragon. It sounds like he has an awesome showmanship, and I agree with you that pop concerts are really fun. You know that I went to see the Backstreet Boys for a bachelor party,
That's right.
and that was a similar experience with just screaming and everyone standing up, and you can't compare that level of energy. I'm just really self-conscious about my woos
Oh, me
because
too.
I'm also used to clapping, and I'm like, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so loud right now. I'm being so confident and crazy. It's just,
Yes, I had the exact same concerns. I was like, am I being too raucous for the crowd? I don't know.
they probably could
I don't want
never
to
hear
shake the
us.
stadium with my I'm so self-conscious about it, so I really had a hard time with that. But I did try my best. I feel like I can throw in some whistles there. I try to do that. I feel more comfortable with that. But then sometimes I feel like I'm catcalling people. So I don't know. It doesn't
You're escorted out of the G-Dragon concert.
exactly. Do not catcall the artist, please. I try to make as much noise as I can within my comfort zone.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. But yeah, that's a great way to end the summer because we're technically not in fall yet. But switching gears very abruptly, I'm going to talk about my blood donation. But before I do that, I am sipping on Lucerne's. I don't know. I'm making it sound very exotic. I don't know how you pronounce that. It's that milk and creamer company. It's a no sugar spice pumpkin pecan creamer, and I really like it because it's not too sweet, obviously, because there's no sugar. It's just so creamy. It's the right amount of spice that I want and pumpkin flavor. So I know we lied because they were checking the kettle, but it's pumpkin spice season. We're kicking it off. So we'll talk about creamers. But now to my blood donation. So I have to give blood for this condition I have, and it's the first time I've ever given blood in my entire life. So I was like really nervous. I wanted to go to the American Red Cross because they have such cozy Peanuts t-shirts, and it's going viral. And if you donate your blood, you get one of the Peanut shirts. And then some folks get a golden ticket and you get all of the Peanut shirts. It ends today. We're recording on September 21st. So I don't know what they're going to do after this. So you're in tough luck if you want to donate your blood and get that Peanut shirt. So all the slots were filled up because everyone's going after these Peanut shirts. So I went to the Los Angeles Children's Hospital, and I'm really glad that I did because they're so lovely and sweet there. And there's something really cozy about having anxious expectations and worries because I'm really scared of needles and all that stuff. And having a really nice nurse, because I went to another place first, and it's a long story why I couldn't donate blood there, but I said to the nurse, "Oh, is it kind of like a blood draw? I'm a little anxious." And his response was, "We stick a big needle in you." So it really wasn't,
Wow.
yeah, it really was like a comforting experience. And I
Needs
think
a
that
few more lessons in bedside etiquette.
I was getting really anxious with him. And that's a whole other story. But so to have a really sweet nurse means a lot and is super cozy. And so when your expectations are flipped on its head, so you have all these worries and anxieties, and then you meet someone who kind of takes that all apart and gives you a different perspective on it. And the nurse I had was really sweet, and they give you a ton of snacks, and it's for a good cause. And there's some euphoria after you do it, or you're just on a high of I conquered a fear, and that feels really cozy, but also knowing that it's helping out kids, so it was a win-win. The nurse, while I was giving blood, came over like an airline stewardess almost and gave me a bunch of snacks. I could take as many as I wanted. I had Gatorade, I had pretzels, all the things. And then you get points for all the blood that you donate, which sounds a little weird, but if you get enough points, you get a prize. So different tiers of prizes. I want the hat. It's 250 points. So I did the math. I'm going to have to donate for a year and some change to get that hat.
Wow.
That's a lot of blood, but it's just a good experience because it didn't hurt and it was a lot better than I expected. And so I think if people realize that, they'd probably donate. And there's critical need, especially for people with O type blood. So if you're on the fence about it, I recommend doing it. You're helping out people and it's not as bad as you think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think all our listeners want to know, was Hooterson with you to provide comfort?
So I did bring our son, Matt.
Oh, Cozy? Cozy the bear?
Yes, I did. Well, I actually not our son. Our son's little pet, the cat.
Yeah, Spooky the cat.
Spooky the cat. So I brought him for the first run around and that fell apart. It wasn't my fault. And then the second time I was rushing over to an appointment that popped up. So I forgot him at home. But I was able to do it still because I had a lovely nurse, and there's something so cozy about sweet medical staff who are supportive and get you through it. And I think it's so cozy to know that we can all do hard things. That's my final note on that.
Yes. And I'm proud of you for not only overcoming your fear, but also doing that without the comfort of a plushy friend. So hats off to you.
Thank you. I got some free pretzels, so I'll let you know when I get that hat.
We're all rooting for you. Well, from overcoming our fears and high octane pop concerts to a focus on fall for this episode, we're really trying to take it easy for a change. Jillian, we are on the hunt for a lazy October.
In the 1990 movie, The Hunt for Red October, it's a race against time for CIA analyst Jack Ryan as he tracks Soviet captain Marco Ramius and his doomed submarine. And while this next sentence might sound dramatic, October in the age of social media isn't too far off from a Cold War pressure cooker.
I've always said that.
Yeah, we make t shirts. Sometimes it's just all too much. Of course, in this scenario, we're eager hostages. We love all things fall. But even we aren't immune to getting lost in the haze of cozy activities, pumpkin themed treats, and seasonal rituals. It's like a buffet made entirely of your favorite foods. Where do you start? How do you tackle it? And when do you actually get to savor it? Sure, a great mind might devise a well crafted plan of attack, but why do that when you can keep it cozy and simple? That's exactly what we did this year, choosing practical laziness over practical magic. We found quick, easy, and delightfully cozy ideas to celebrate fall, from decorations and treats to activities and ambiance. So let's kick off the hunt for lazy October. No Instagram scrolling on your part required. So, Matt, what comes to your mind when you think of a lazy October?
When I think of a lazy October, the first thing I think of were those days in college, actually, where I had the freedom to craft my day however I wanted to. Maybe I didn't have class, I had a light amount of homework. And so on those crisp autumn days, I could really make the day as much or as little as I pleased. And those are really my favorite lazy fall days was in that era because, at that point you have the independence of really being able to just be on your own and do what you want. But you're also still in a school environment, so you don't have the responsibilities or the demands that would otherwise interrupt a lazy day. Because it is harder to have a lazy day the older that you get. Until you get to retirement, then it's easier to have a lazy day. But I remember taking walks through crunchy leaves to get a coffee. I went to college in the Midwest, so these autumn months were full of beautiful foliage and those leaves in the ground. And so the crisp air, you could breathe it in. I love going on walks in the fall, and I did that a lot in that era. And I would come back to my apartment or dorm, depending on the year, and, play a cozy video game. Or maybe it was my freshman year where I strangely got into Neopets again. And I was like curating my little antique store that was all like autumn themed slash like Halloween stuff. That would really put me in the autumn spirit, but just really be all about decompressing and having a really nice low key day.
That's very similar for me, except I was thinking of high school. That's where my mind first went. So I remember walking home from the bus stop against the backdrop of a cloudy day and the crunchy fall leaves on the sidewalk, and just going home and having snacks and watching my fall shows and just being really quiet. And like you said, that independence to do what you want because you don't have work or any major responsibilities. When you mentioned college, of course, I have to think about the time when I was in Boston. That's where I went to school, and that's obviously very fall coded. And I lived in the South End, and I just remember getting my favorite fall drinks at my favorite cafes and just enjoying the scenery there. So just, I think the atmosphere was really big of when I think of a lazy October, the setting, opposed to everything that I was doing. And then as an adult, Gilmore Girls, the rewatch, I would be remiss to not mention Gilmore Girls. They know how to pen a love letter to fall. They're masters of that. So that's always my go-to, just lounging around on the couch. I already started my rewatch, so I'm really enjoying it.
That's awesome. Where are you right now in your rewatch?
I am at the part where Rory goes to Yale. So it's her first year of college, and that's super cozy. Right now, I think I'm at the episode where they're at the Yale versus Harvard game, and they have this really cozy tailgating because Richard and Emily are there. So they have this chef, and it's just a dream. So instead of your typical tailgating, they have a very elevated one. I was like, oh man, just get me there. I would enjoy that. Not the game. Maybe I would enjoy the game part, because Matt, we got to practice our wooing. So,
Yes. We'll get it down one day. We'll have the strength and the courage to woo.
well, speaking of strength, we really got our reserves up last year because we did a ton of fall activities. We went to Oktoberfest, which was so fun, and we covered it in a past episode. And that's really cozy too, doing a lot of fall activities with those you care about. But what do you think's cozy about a lazy October versus a busy one? Do you have a preference, or what do you think makes them stand out from one another?
In addition to just picking more leisurely activities that aren't so materials or time intensive, the other way I could think of being able to have your cake and eat it too would be to have friends who are fall fanatics and can lead the way, and then can become a supporting cast member of that fall activity. So you don't have to necessarily put in all the planning. I guess I'm advocating for some kind of being a hanger on when it comes to fall activities, if you can manage it. Unfortunately, it feels like I'm always the leader of the fall stuff, so I never really get to just lay back and be a participant. And yes, that is a desperate plea for help.
There you are, master of ceremonies.
Anyway, so I think in a nutshell, it's about the role you're playing too. So going back to college memories, I remember one time a friend really wanted those Pillsbury ready to bake Halloween cookies. And I just accompanied her. She drove us to the store. We grabbed those cookies. She baked them. Not that there's like much effort required in that anyway. And then we ate them. And it was so easy, but felt so fall and nostalgic, and that was a really easy thing to do. Or another time we all went apple picking, and we had the bright idea of we're going to make an apple pie. And fortunately, I was just like an assistant in that. I would like take lots of breaks and I would talk to people, and I wasn't so worried about the final product. And I think when you can engage in a cozy fall activity, but you're not the lead diva, you're just a backup singer, that's always a way to enjoy it more. But again, it does require that you have those motivated fall fanatics in your life.
Yeah, and I feel a little guilty because you are truly the master of fall. I can even spot some cute decorations from where you're recording.
Oh yeah, the ghosts I added,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you technically are a fall fanatic, but I also think that, and I mean this as a compliment, have also mastered the art of lazy too. You have like such cozy ambiance. Every time I come over, it's very cozy, and that takes a lot of work on your part. Maybe you're better at curating the laziness for other people.
Well, here's the thing is, last episode you said that cats like me because I don't move very much. And so now you're saying I'm
That's so
mastering the art of
sad.
laziness.
No, I'm the one who's mastered the art of laziness. I barely
It's
move.
fine. It's fine. I'll talk about it with my therapist.
Anyway, so my perspective on this, and I was thinking a lot about it, I think we've kind of moved away from the idea that October is preparing for hibernation and some are really supposed to slow down. But in recent decade, we've really done the opposite, where it's just so much pomp and circumstance and go, go, go. And it's something we all love. And it's also nice to know that everyone's gotten in on the fall craze and folks are appreciating what you appreciate. And it's like the one commonality I think that we all have. And that's lovely. But for me, it's just so much pressure, especially scrolling through Instagram. And I love to scroll. And all the crafts and recipes I want to make, and there's so many, and I just don't know what to do. And then I feel so much overwhelmed that I do nothing. Like I haven't decorated for fall yet. I'm really way behind.
You're not behind at all, Jillian.
I am, but no, see, in the context of this age that we're in, I am behind.
Don't feel the pressure. I'm with you in that, like, normally by this time I have decorated for fall, and then I finish it up with my Halloween decorations a few weeks later. And I haven't done the fall piece. It's going to all go up. Actually, today is my big,
Oh.
as we record this is my big decorating day after we finish this recording. So I'm doing it all in one go, the fall and the Halloween. But I hear you. Like, it is nice when you get to have, a few weeks in September to kind of lead in with just some fall leaves or, a scarecrow here and there without going into full ghouls and goblins.
Yeah, I just picked up my one pumpkin spice creamer. And then my mom, for my birthday, sent me this candle that has no identification on. I don't know where it's from. Probably she picked up in the clearance section of Home Goods. It's just a clear mug and just the pumpkin candle in it. It's like a pumpkin caramel, maybe. It's a really nice scent. And that's the only candle I have that's fall related. And it's actually pretty lovely. I just every single night, it's going to run out soon, light my one candle. I have my pumpkin spice creamer in the morning, and I'm doing this fall activity at night, which is my diamond art. I got it last year for just context and how slowly I move. And so this glow-in-the-dark black cat. I've been working on it for close to a year. It's just I can only do so much at a time. And then I'm watching my Gilmore Girls. So I'm slowly easing into October. And I don't want to say this episode is about give nothing because I was like, oh, I hope this doesn't read offensive. Like, we're giving you nothing. Enjoy it. But it's more about, I think, doing things at your own pace. And
Yes.
so to get into that, let's talk about some decorations. I'll kick it off. I saw this really cute Instagram craft, glue ghosts, and they're stickies for your windows. And I talked about my window clings that I find really cozy in the 90s, just those vintage looking window clings. So this isn't that, but it's close enough that it can do on my own, and it's really simple. All you need is some white Elmer's glue, a Ziploc bag, a piece of paper and pen, glitter of your choice, googly eyes if you want, but it's optional, and I'll explain why. And it only takes about 10 minutes. So you start with your piece of paper, outline your ghost. It can be big or small. And if you're not going to have googly eyes, just draw in the mouth and the eyes. Because when you put your traced ghost into the Ziploc bag, you'll just draw the glue on that shape and go around your eyes and your mouth. And then when you sprinkle your glitter on it, you'll have the eyes and the mouth. But I saw on Instagram it's a lot more popular to put on the googly eyes because I think this is a craft for children. I would have put the googly eyes on, I just didn't have them. And that's why this is a cozy, lazy craft because you don't need a lot of things to make this. And that's what I was aiming for when I was looking at my craft. So I took about maybe 45 minutes to an hour just looking through Instagram to find some of the simplest crafts. And this definitely came out as a winner. So use whatever glitter you want. I think I did a little bit too much glitter, but I have this fall glitter, gold, red, and orange. So I had all the fall glitter already waiting for me. So once you have your glue ghost traced, just sprinkle whatever amount of glitter you want on it and then leave it out overnight. I recommend giving as much time as you can. So even if you can stretch that a little bit, do it because one of my ghosts glue was a little bit wet in the back and I let it sit for a day and a half. But my other one worked out really well, and I sent Matt a picture of it. It was my gold ghost. It was really cute and tiny, and I peeled it right off my Ziploc bag, slapped it on my glass sliding door, and I thought it looked really cute. So I'm going to make more and do a whole ghost window cling collage. But yeah, super simple, and it worked perfectly. And I think if I could do it again, I might skip the glitter. Glitter is just everywhere.
Yeah, glitter is tough to work with, but the end result is very glitz and glamour. So you do get to have that sparkle. It's very Twilight.
Yeah. So you can make thicker ghosts. Sounds weird.
Oh, yeah.
You can put more glue. It's really up to you. So that's another tip. If you want thicker ghosts, add more. I did a very thin ghost. I think this time maybe I would get some fall colored sequins that could work well, or even some sprinkles that are very light. You could put whatever you want in that ghost and slap it on the
Yes.
wall.
And we love a ghost of all sizes.
Yeah.
I will say this craft would have my elementary school art teacher spinning in her grave
Why?
because whenever we were working on projects in her class that involved glue, she would always remind us repeatedly over the course of the lesson, a little dab will do ya. She was so sick of these kids wasting
My
her glue. A little dab will do ya.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure that's on her tombstone. If she saw this, she would cry from all the glue being wasted. But it is very cute and easy, and it's a nice transparent thing you can hang up in your house.
Yeah, and I think it works for adults and kids. What were you crafting over on your spooky table?
Speaking of kid crafts, I mean, this is where I think you get the simplest stuff. And it's not as if you can't bring your fine motor skills that you have as an adult, your ability to curate something a little bit more refined looking now. So you can still do the child craft, but, elevate it with your wisdom and experience. So when I think about simple decorations, I'm kind of going back to like the Halloween thing. You did ghosts. And I loved to make my own Halloween decorations when I was a kid. I had checked out a book from the library, and I wish I remember the title of it, but it was just pages and pages of kids' craft ideas for Halloween, and I tried to make most of them. I would spend hours doing that. And the two that were the easiest to make and the ones that I was most likely to come back to were, first of all, and I guarantee you, many of you listening have already made these at school or at home. It's the tissue paper ghosts. Really simple. You just ball up a tissue, and then you drape another tissue over it. That balled up tissue is like the head of the ghost. And then when you drape it over, you like tie a string around the bottom of that quote unquote head. And so now you have like a little head and you have like the ethereal tissue body.
Mhm.
And then you just get a Sharpie and give it a ghoulish expression. I would spend hours trying to give them all different faces and different emotions. And then you just hang them around the house for decoration. Did you ever make those tissue paper ghosts, Jillian?
I probably did. It's not standing out to me, but I can visualize what you're describing and I recognize them. So if I had not made them, I have seen them. I think you can probably also make them into different characters too, like add a little hat to make a witch, right?
Yeah, but then you're not lazy. Now we're
Yes, true.
getting into
Yeah,
high
it's true.
effort.
See, I'm already going off the rails here.
Speaking of making something high effort into a lazy version, another recommendation I would have is paper bag puppets. I'm linking to a high effort version in the show notes that uses cutout construction paper to decorate like a Frankenstein puppet made out of a brown paper bag. But my version is much more low effort. And this is what I would do as a kid. I would have different color Sharpies or markers, any kind of color marker. And I would take that brown paper bag and turn it to the side where the flap is open. That's like your flap and head part of the puppet. And you just use the markers to create your design. It could be a Frankenstein, it could be a wolfman, it could be a pumpkin guy. I don't know, whatever your a witch, whatever your heart's desire. Then you stick your hand in the bag and you have a Halloween puppet, or you can just fluff out the bag and have it standing up as a decoration. Very easy and low effort.
I really like that. It's not a mess, which I think is so important for people who have kids and they're trying to come up with crafts that aren't just gonna explosion of glitter. So I'm recommending glitter bombs in my activities. But yeah, this is really simple and super cute.
And again, the linked version I have has these cutout construction paper pieces that you then glue together. It looks really great. But speaking from somebody who has recently made a construction paper collage, I had to make some sort of self-portrait thing for work, one of those really hard work days. And I spent hours just like cutting out paper and making sure it was the right size and look. And I put a lot of effort into that stuff. And so sometimes you just got to get really simple and just say, I'm going to color it in. I'm not going to worry too much about making everything look great. I want to give one more honorable mention, though. In terms of a really simple paper activity you can do, and this is one of my favorites as well, you just get a black piece of construction paper, you fold it in half, you cut out half a bat, and you unfold it. You have a full bat that's symmetrical, and then you just tape those on your wall, and it's a great decoration, super easy.
That's classic. I always think those bats will be en vogue.
Honestly, I think they look great, too. They're so simple, and they look as good as anything you can buy in a store, I think.
I agree 100%. So as we were making our crafts, we probably are getting a little hungry and or need something to sip on. I went with the ghost theme. I kept it going. So my nephew, he loves ghosts and he says anything he really likes, like, oh, it's so cutie. And for ghosts, he's always talking about cutie ghosts. So maybe
Aw.
that's what, yeah. So I was inspired. And so I made ghost iced coffee cups. The OG version of this is chocolate milk. Once again, these are probably more kid activities. So I was trying to take a kid activity and make an adult version, or you could probably do Bailey's or anything remotely like that. So for this, all you need marshmallow fluff, plastic cups, a Sharpie, but I used a whiteboard Sharpie, which works perfectly, and I'll explain why when I talk about how to make this. And it only takes about 5 minutes. So the thought process is you have your clear plastic cup, you take a spoon or a fork or a knife, you start from the bottom of your cup with your marshmallow fluff and you just drag it up. So you create a ghost and it doesn't have to be perfect. I tried a bunch of different times to make a more perfect ghost that wasn't so spread out. And Matt, I sent him a picture and he said it would look like Bart Simpson.
Yeah. It almost looks like it has the tail of the ghost, the bottom of a ghost, but it's on the head. So it's more like a Bart Simpson vibe.
Yeah. And I just, after that, I was like, what the heck am I doing? Like, I have 5 plastic cups with marshmallow fluff in it. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is fine. It's fun and it's silly and whatever. And so I made my iced coffee in another cup and then I just poured it into my ghost cup. And then it's a really nice contrast of the marshmallow fluff against the darkened iced coffee. And then you just draw your eyes and your mouth with the Sharpie. And I thought to myself, I was like, oh, I would probably have to dispose these plastic cups with the whiteboard Sharpie. It would easily wipe off, but it also didn't get on your fingers. So it's the perfect in between. I don't know why no one else did this, or probably did, but on Instagram, I saw everyone using the Sharpies. So I don't know, no shade to those who don't recycle or anything like that.
Jillian over here is an innovator,
Yes, I'm the only person using a whiteboard Sharpie for my ghost
eco
coats.
warrior and
Yeah.
innovator.
So I thought these were really cute. It's minimal effort with high impact because they're just so cute and adorable. And it's nothing revolutionary, but I think if you invited some folks over maybe for, I don't know, a little Halloween brunch, fall brunch, and they saw these cute ghost cups, I think they'd really enjoy it. You don't taste the marshmallow fluff right away, but as you're getting to the end of your coffee, it starts to float up. It's just an interesting experience, like little marshmallow
Ooh,
chunks.
it's the ghost of the marshmallow chunk.
Yeah. So it was kind of like an odd sensation of drinking your coffee and then these marshmallow chunks. That's just a little
It's a
tasty.
surprise appearance of flavor.
So that was my experience with my ghost cup. Very cutie. I
Yes,
recommend it.
very cutie ghost. And simple, and that's the name of the game, right? It's really simple.
Yeah, super simple. And it took me 5 minutes. I just did it in the morning with my iced coffee and it was cute. I sent it to my family. They really enjoyed it. And then my nephew, Finbar, who loves the cutie ghost, they're going to try it. So I'm inspiring young minds as well.
Yes. Well, I'm also keeping it lazy with my food item. And I almost want to say that you've done this one before, Jillian, because it sounds
Oh,
familiar, but it's the spider web guacamole.
yep. That sounds familiar.
So the recipe that I linked to, again, way too high effort. They give you directions to actually make your own guacamole from scratch. We're not doing that. We're exhausted. You don't have time. Okay. So get some store-bought guacamole, just crack that open. And now you're going to take a packet of sour cream. I've heard Wendy's has packets you can get because they have like potatoes. So there's an option there in terms of getting a sour cream packet, or if you can just find that. I know single-use plastics, going back to your cups, like not great, but it does make the application easier. And if we're talking about a lack of effort, then I'm not into having to cram a bunch of sour cream into a pastry bag. No, thank you. Or you can simply glop it on in like a vague circle and then use a toothpick to refine it and then branch out your spider web. So, yeah, you can either pipe it with a packet or you can use a toothpick to kind of like take your little sour cream glops and make them into something somewhat looking like a spider web. And then if you are going a little bit of an extra mile, you can make a little spider on it with a black olive. You just like take half a black olive and then with the other half, just cut it up into strips. Those are the legs that you put next to the black olive, but it's going to be destroyed almost instantly anyway once you eat this. So I don't know if I would even bother. Also, I would say get the Trader Joe's fall leaf tortilla chips for that full autumn aesthetic. So imagine like a bowl where you, in the middle is a spider web guac and then surrounding it are fall leaf chips. You could do that in under 5 minutes. So simple and very fall and Halloween.
See, that's why you're the master of fall. Such a hot tip to get the Trader Joe's fall chips because I'm looking at this article you linked to from Food Network, and they do not have the fall inspired chips, and that really would have brought this all together.
Absolutely.
There you
Yeah. And
go.
those are some of my favorite seasonal items that any grocery store has because A, I love eating tortilla chips. They're regular tortilla chips. It's not some pumpkin spice thing. And so it's much more useful. But they have those wonderful leaf shapes and it's very festive.
I will definitely be making this year. Well, now that our boo bellies are full, let's transition into some activities. Matt, what are you doing this fall that is lazy but stimulating?
This has kind of been a craze that maybe has died down at this point, and it's something that I really have tried to get into, and I only occasionally dabble in, but every time I do sit down and take the time to do an adult coloring book, I really enjoy my time because thinking back to even your diamond art, you have to really be looking at what you're doing as you're applying that. And what I like about coloring is that it's a little more absent-minded, and so I can watch a TV show or movie and also have the stimulation of doing an adult coloring book. So, what is an adult coloring book? I just feel like it's a coloring book with a little bit more complexity to it, and the images are a lot more complex and detailed. So, I'm going to give you three options for a fall adult coloring book. That's an easy way to have a nice, lazy October day. The first would be if you're going for a cute and cozy vibe, there's the comfy fall coloring book for when you want to color woodland animals having coffee or a pumpkin donut that has a face. So it's very much anthropomorphized, Sylvanian families kind of energy to it. So that's the comfy fall coloring book. Every coloring book I'm about to mention is linked in our show notes if you want to check it out. The second one is Enchanted and Witchy, and it's from the viral artist Autumnal Woods, and they have a coloring book called Enchanted Creatures. that offers more detailed designs to color in. And it's a retro, vintage style, like moons and forests and mushrooms. It has that kind of autumn energy. I mean, it's in the artist's name, Autumnal Woods, but kind of that psychedelic style too, a little bit. And Jillian, one of the pictures you can color is a frog living under a tree wearing little socks. So I feel like this one is right up your alley.
Sold. Right up my alley.
And then finally, if you're more mature and literary, there's actually an official coloring book for the novel that also went viral a couple years ago, The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And there's the Pumpkin Spice Cafe coloring book that has snippets from the book. So, like on one side, it has like an excerpt from the book and then a corresponding picture to color in. And this is for people who want to color in more urban fall scenes and more pumpkin spice lattes than you can shake a cinnamon stick at.
These are all awesome picks. I am putting some in my cart right now. They're so beautiful. And you're right. Like at the end of the day, it's just nice to have some activity that you can laser focus on and use your hands and you're just zoning out. And what I love about the diamond art, which is similar probably to coloring, is that you can see your progress.
Right.
And yeah, I think especially in all the work that we do, sometimes it's hard to see literal progress. And I find that really cozy and comforting. It's like, oh, I'm almost there. I can see things starting to take shape and it just feels really doable. And that's what's hard with some of these artistic activities is you start from scratch. And if you don't have a lot of artistic talents or skills, it can feel a little bit defeating, but it's so attainable, which I find really comforting, cozy.
I'll admit, I was very skeptical of adult coloring books when I first started seeing that trend happen, but I've come to appreciate them because they're about the process and not the product. So
Mhm.
it's about having a decompressing activity that gets you off a screen, that gets you using your hands and getting to actually have some imagination. And you're picking the colors and you can blend them and you can maybe make some additions to the picture depending on how open it is. But for the most part, no one's going to see the picture you colored in. And so it doesn't matter. You can just have fun and relax and not be worried about the end product.
Absolutely. I chose for my activities definitely different from yours. I love the hands-on activities, but I kept it to my computer this time and I took a little bit of an inspiration from our cozy gaming episode. And I went to the site Itch.io, which is essentially Bandcamp for indie game creators. And you can search for the type of game you want and filter by play by browser so you don't have to download the game. So that's peak laziness. And it reminds me of the 90s. Those I used to go to nickelodeon.com all the time. I don't know if Matt, you did this, like play their browser games. And there's this one, I think it's Hey Arnold, and I was in the cafeteria. I had to feed the kids. And I really enjoyed that. But anyway, so in 2024, the site hosted a Cozy Fall Jam, which is an annual 3-day game jam about making a cozy little game based around anything fall. So the color orange, falling leaves, rainy days, Halloween, hot tea, you name it, per the website. And the site is hosting one for 2025. So if you're interested, submissions are open from October 23rd at 1 p.m. to October 26th at 2 p.m.
That's amazing. I love that they have a cozy fall game jam. That's incredible. If I have time, I want to enter this year.
You really should. Oh, that makes me so excited. I would love to play your game. We will be cheering you on if you do. Please do. That'd be so cool. Because I think a lot of the games that I browsed were great, but I think that you'd be the ace. But anyway, I played 3 easy games. I looked through their October 24 list and I filtered by play by browser and I found Knock Knock Cozy, which is a game where you're handing out Halloween candy to the kids, and it's a very tight view, so the door is really up close and the only other thing on the wall from your house is a cute cat clock in the left-hand corner, and then you have to match the shadow of what the kid is requesting. So it's like an outline of the candy and you have the actual candy in your bag. So you have to match your candy to the shapes because they're not speaking, they're only showing the shapes. And so I realized that I struggle with shape recognition.
No, Jillian, I was playing this game after I saw the link in our show notes, and I think it is difficult because you have to acquaint yourself. You've never seen these shapes of treats before, and so you're trying to figure out, like, okay, which one looks like that? And they move so quickly. The kids are so impatient
Quick.
that I wasn't able to give them their Frankenstein cupcake, and they just storm off like little brats.
They're so mad.
Yeah, I was so frustrated with this game, actually, because the kids were so impatient.
I got a kick out of it. That was frustrating because I felt like I couldn't break even, but Canella, my dog, was sitting next to me, and the kids, when they're upset, make this really, I don't know, it sounds like high-pitched squirrels, like, they get so mad, and so her head was cocked staring at the screen like, "What is this noise?" And I think I successfully gave out a few candies, but ultimately, I got that message, I don't know if you got it, Matt, which is like, "You're not the children's favorite," which I got a kick
Yes.
out of. Thought that was funny. Like, okay. The next one was Leaf by Leaf, which was very meditative, I thought. You're just on a tractor and you're cleaning up leaves. And there's different environments that you could collect leaves in. I just went for the easiest one. And you have this rake and you're using your arrow keys to go and collect the leaves. And it's just very soothing to collect those leaves.
Yes, it's very calming. This was my favorite of the ones that you found, and you can upgrade your tractor as you're going around
Mhm.
and raking leaves in, and that was like a nice like growth of the game, but overall it's a very relaxing game to play.
So relaxing. And then the last one I struggled with is pumpkin patch. I like the concept. You run your own pumpkin patch. You have seeds and you collect your growing pumpkins and you sell it at a stand. And the character icon has a little witch hat, which I thought was really cute. I don't know if you experienced this, Matt, but when I went to sell my pumpkins, no one came. I was
Right,
just,
exactly. This was maddening.
it was
I had
so
a really
maddening.
hard time trying to pick the pumpkin. I was so unclear on the controls. And then the pumpkin starts rotting before your eyes if you don't pluck it soon enough. And so again, I don't like the impatience of some of these games. It's like, listen, I'm here for a cozy fall vibe. I do not want to see a pumpkin rotting. Maybe this was my least favorite because I was so unclear about like how to actually play the game or what I was doing. The Knock Knock Cozy one, even though the kids annoyed me, it was very clear what the objective was. And again, Leaf by Leaf was great because you're just raking leaves, very calming.
Yeah, there was something though really reflective about standing at a pumpkin stand. Just no one coming. I was just it was very peaceful. I was just standing there with my pumpkin. Will people come? I don't know. And you have to get money to get new seeds.
Right.
So anyway,
Yeah, you're really stuck on that part.
it was really fun and I'm glad that you played along too. And I'm rooting for you. You need to submit to this cozy fall jam and
Yeah, I just need your partner's coding prowess.
put her to work. The other thing, actually, on top of the games, I just want to give a quick shout out to Emily Lex's fall watercolor book. So, Matt, you mentioned the coloring books, and I got this for my birthday. It's paint by numbers somewhat. It tells you the colors that you should choose, and you can have your own watercolors and you can make your own mixes, but it gives you the outline of the shape and then a little key where you can see what colors and shading that you should use. So it's very doable and attainable. And I think what I'll use this for is to make fall cards and cut it out of the workbook. It's very lovely. She has a bunch of different ones. It's going viral on Instagram, I think. So I want to give a shout out to that. We have filled our bellies. We have done a lot of fun activities. We've made some crafts. Now let's set the mood and wind down with some lazy ambiance.
Yes, so this part is really just about like how can you create an ambiance in your home that's very autumnal, fall, without any effort whatsoever. And so I chose one of those videos on YouTube that plays music and some ambient noise to give your space that fall vibe with nothing more than a computer and clicking play on a video. And there's a lot of options if you just search YouTube for like autumnal ambiance or like whatever. There's one genre that I've seen emerging recently that I've been into, and it's whatever environment, but there's a vintage TV or vintage radio playing in the other room. And what that means, it's low and oftentimes to one speaker. And so it kind of sounds like it's there, but it's coming from a distance. And I love that because I like having some of that ambient noise, but without it being super distracting. Because sometimes when there's words or talking, it really takes me out of it. But when you have vintage music playing like in another room near where you're in a fall environment with rainfall and rustling leaves, that's very cozy. And it feels almost like you have company, feels like you're not alone. I like that energy. And so I linked to a video of a rainy October night while vintage music is playing in another room. And I really like that one. But there's a lot of different options. I'm sure a lot of our listeners already are experts at finding these types of videos, but just a reminder that that's a great, easy way to create some fall ambiance with little to no effort.
Yeah, and I think especially in Los Angeles, we're seeking those kinds of sounds and vibes and the raininess, and we don't get it. Something like this is super cozy. And I took a similar approach. You make your own ambient noise from an autumn walk noise mix from mynoise.net. So this is really cool because you can adjust the levels of certain different sounds. So let's say there's a crow. We don't want to hear that crow no more. You pull down the slider. Or let's say you want some more rustling leaves in your mix. You can up the slider and it's constant. So you can adjust in real time. And I really like that because a lot of these sounds and YouTube mixes and whatnot, I'm like, okay, I've heard enough of the chirping birds. It's not like really fall for me. I want to make it my own. And this allows you to do that. And so there's different mixes you can do. There's an Irish coast. There's lots of different cozy mixes, but I thought this was very appropriate for what we're discussing the autumn walk. So, Matt, we also discussed walking in the fall and the crunch of the leaves. And if you're missing that and want to maybe add some more thunder or whatever you think is cozy for an autumn walk, you can do it with this.
Yeah, you know you want to be an autumn sound DJ, and that's really what this provides. And I had a lot of fun playing with this. I really liked it with the thunder up louder.
Mhm.
I put down the footsteps because that creeps me out. I don't want anyone walking behind me. So the footsteps were a no for me. So, but I liked having the control. Like I don't have to have the footsteps, right? So, and then you can put up other sounds, hear more of the rain and the leaves. And so I made it more of a rainy autumn day with some thunder in the background, but you can make it a clear day. You really have a lot of control over the sounds that are coming through. It's a lot of fun. That's a great recommendation.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Well, I think we filled up our cozy cup without breaking a sweat. Let's celebrate with a candle review. I have the candle this time. It's from Mise en Place. It's a gourmand golden maple.
Oh, oui, oui.
I was like, oh god, I practiced this. Oh no. The maple pumpkin ceramic candle for $28. Got it from Anthropology. You know, I have to get my Anthropology fall candle because I think they do a beautiful job of the candle holder. And this is, as I noted, ceramic and it has these beautiful orange stripes on it. And so I'll definitely reuse this ceramic holder. The top note is maple pumpkin, the middle note, sugar vanilla, and the bottom note, maple woods. So if you're feeling lazy and craving the scent of pumpkin maple pancakes, this is for you. It hits all those notes, but it's really grounded in the maple. And I was afraid, and I say this all the time when I review a candle, that the sugar and the vanilla would be overpowering. And perhaps I haven't burned it far enough, but I think what pumpkin scent candles need is always that grounding scent. And here the maple does that. And it's just this beautiful mix. And if you're busy on a weekend, but just want those pumpkin pancake morning vibes, light this candle and it does the trick. It just feels so luxurious whenever I splurge for Anthropology candle because they hit all the notes, the look and the scent. So this is a wake up for me.
Yeah, I love the way even the ceramic holder, first of all, just the beautiful alternating orange and white on the holder itself, and the fact that the label for the candle is actually on the ceramic. And so, on the one hand, that maybe makes it a little less reusable, but on the other hand, you'll never forget which candle was in there originally. And I also love the chaotic energy of the promotional photo that they have on the site where they literally put one of these candles on a stack of pancakes and glopped maple syrup all over it. And it looks so sticky and stressful to me, but I'm sure whoever took that photo had a lot of fun.
Yeah, they go all out over Anthropology. Now that we've had our fill of pumpkin pancakes, let's give a non-lazy rousing thank you to Camille P., our newest Patreon member. Thank you, Camille.
Yes, thank you for joining us on our cozy fall walk as we make new episodes of All Things Cozy. If you would like to turn over a new leaf and support our show, you can at patreon.com/allthingscozy. We have different tiers that you can join at. Each one of them has its own special cozy swag that you can get in exchange for your support. Our favorite, of course, is our cozy book club. Every month we recommend a book. We all read it. And then we share a link on Zoom where we all get together and discuss it. And it's a lot of fun. That's at our votive tier. It's $5 a month. One option for you if you're interested in that. Again, that's patreon.com/allthingscozy. We're on Instagram and Facebook at All Things Cozy Podcast. And if you're on Blue Sky, we're over there enjoying the beautiful blue sky at All Things Cozy. Well, we hope that you are feeling all the cozy fall vibes from this episode. Remember, in 2 more weeks, there'll be another cozy episode, but given this time of year, it might be a little spooky in addition to cozy because our Leaf Peep and Walk might take us directly to Count Dracula's castle. So we'll see where we end up.
I'm scared.
But for now, enjoy the chill vibes, and as always,
Stay cozy.